Unit 7, Recording 1. The biggest concert in history.
A new record was set on the 31st of December 1994 when over 3.5 million people attended a Rod Stewart concert in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The venue was Copacabana Beach, where millions celebrate New Year's Eve every year. Some of the crowd who were there were probably just celebrating as usual rather than attending the concert, but it is still recognized by the Guinness Book of Records as the largest ever.
The biggest protest ever.
The largest coordinated anti-war rallies in recent history took place on the 15th of February 2003, all around the world. Protesters were campaigning against the war which was about to begin in Iraq. The largest single protest, which was in Rome, attracted around 3 million people, many carrying placards and banners. The size of the protest surprised even the organisers, who decided to start the march 2 hours early as a result. Most marchers didn't manage to hear the speakers address the crowd as the public square wasn't big enough.
The largest crowd at a sports event.
The 200,000 people who watched the World Cup final in the Maracana Stadium in June 1950 remain to this day the largest stadium crowd at a sports event. The match itself was between Uruguay, who won, and Brazil. But the record for the largest crowd at a single sports event is probably held by the Tour de France. This race attracts 12 to 15 million spectators over the 2 weeks that it is held.
Unit 7, Recording 2. Harriet.
Quite a few of my friends had absolutely huge which cost thousands and thousands of pounds, with like a mega expensive dress, a massive cake, loads of flower arrangements everywhere, and literally hundreds of guests, loads of their parents' friends. I mean, one of my friends didn't even know some of the guests at her own... I mean, how crazy is that? She had hardly any time to talk to her own friends because she was so busy being polite to people she didn't know. And then you hear all these stories about people getting really stressed beforehand when it's supposed to be like a joyful occasion. Another of my friends fell out with her future mother-in-law over the arrangements. Apparently, the mother-in-law nearly didn't come to though luckily they made it up before the big day. But it's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, as I say, I'd been to several of these and it was all far too impersonal. There was far too much fuss. So anyway, Freddie and I decided we wanted something completely different. So we've just invited close family and a few old friends to the ceremony and the reception, and we're saving the money my parents gave us to spend on our new flat. We'll have a nice party a couple of weeks later to celebrate with all our friends, and it'll be fantastic. No stress, none of my mother's friends. Heaven.
Bethany.
Is basically a day that most people spend with their families. They have a big family gathering, either at home or in a restaurant, a special meal with special dishes, and everyone eats far too much food, and then no one can move, so they all sit around and watch TV. There are always several big football matches on TV, and there's also a big parade that you can also watch on TV with like amazing floats and costumes and balloons and fireworks. So that's kind of fun to watch if you've got nothing better to do. But basically, it's a pretty lazy day after you've finished eating. And surprisingly, it's not particularly commercial. Very few people exchange presents or cards. You might take a small gift if you're invited to someone's house for a meal, you know, some flowers or a little candy for the kids. But really, it's all quite low-key. It's really nice in that way.
Dan.
I guess I'm a bit of a freak, really. I go to more or less any I can. Sometimes I manage to get work as a steward in return for like a free ticket. It's always really exciting when you arrive. There's this amazing buzz that you get from being surrounded by thousands and thousands of people. You know, all of them there like to enjoy themselves. I love the feeling when you wake up and gradually everyone comes out of their tents and slowly the place comes to life and there's this build-up of excitement as the bands are about to start playing. First the small bands on several different stages, building up to the headline act at the end of the evening on the main stage. Some are friendlier than others, but there's usually a great atmosphere. You can get talking to anyone, really. The party really starts about midnight after the bands have finished, and I often stay up most of the night. I never get enough sleep. What else? These days, I would say the facilities in most places are pretty good. There are usually enough toilets, though there are always massive queues, and there are plenty of stalls to buy food and drink, though none of it's cheap. And of course, there's always loads of merchandise on sale, band t-shirts and stuff. I always spend far too much money. There's one thing that always annoys me, though. There's never enough water. You know, not enough taps for getting water to wash or drink, and you always have to walk miles to find a tap. Apart from that, I don't have many complaints. I just wish I had more time to see more bands.
Unit 7, Recording 3. 1.
Quite a few of my friends had huge weddings.
2.
They had hundreds of guests.
3.
My friend didn't know some of the guests at her own wedding.
4.
She had hardly any time to talk to her own friends.
5.
We've invited a few old friends.
6.
We'll have a party a couple of weeks later.
7.
Everyone eats far too much food.
8.
Very few people exchange presents.
9.
You take a little candy for the kids.
10.
There are plenty of food stalls.
11.
There isn't enough water available.
12.
I go to any festival I can.
Unit 7, Recording 4. 1.
Do you normally take your time getting up in the morning?
2.
Do you know anyone who's really good at taking photos? Who?
3.
If someone asks you to take a seat, do you stand up or sit down?
4.
If you took up a new sport or interest, what would it be?
5.
Do you ever have to take care of small children? Who?
6.
Which sports do you play? Do you take them seriously?
7.
When you arrive home, what's the first thing you take off?
8.
Who do you take after more in terms of appearance, your mother or your father?
9.
Have you ever taken part in a concert? What was it?
10.
How long did it take you to get here today?
11.
Have any important historical events ever taken place in your town?
12.
Have you taken any notes during this lesson? What about?
Unit 7, Recording 5. 1.
Oh, Bella, you finished. You must be hungry. Go on, have some more. Have the last piece.
Oh, no thank you. It was very nice, but I'm really full.
Oh, go on. I insist. Have the last bit.
No, really, I couldn't manage anymore.
Okay, maybe I'll finish it then.
2.
Anyway, while I was waiting... Oh no, I'm so sorry, Bella. I'll get a cloth.
Oh, don't worry, Sally. I can wash it when I get home.
It was really stupid of me.
It doesn't matter. These things happen.
3.
Hi, Bella! It's been a while, hasn't it? How have you been?
Oh, hi there. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Oh, good, good. You know, same old, same old.
So, wow, it's been a long time. When was the last time we met?
Oh, at that party at Jake's house, I think.
Oh, that's right. And how's everything going? You know, job, home life?
Yes, everything's fine, thanks. We've just moved house and...
4.
That man is really annoying.
Who? James, my new boyfriend?
Is he your new boyfriend? Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. I hope I didn't offend you.
No, not at all. His laugh is very annoying. James, could you turn it down a bit?
Sorry, Penny.
5.
So anyway, by the time I found out where he was, I was going crazy with worry. I mean, he's no ordinary cat. As you know, he's got such a sweet personality anyway.
Sally, sorry to interrupt you, but I think there's someone at the door.
Oh, don't worry, I'll hold. I'm sure you want to know what happened in the end.
Well, yes, but I know you're really busy, so I don't want to keep you. I'll call you if I get a chance next week.
Oh, okay, Bella. Sure.
Speak soon. Bye.
Unit 7, Recording 6. 1.
It was very nice, but I'm really full.
2.
No, really, I couldn't manage any more.
3.
Oh, don't worry, Sally.
4.
It doesn't matter. These things happen.
5.
When was the last time we met?
6.
How's everything going?
7.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise.
8.
I hope I didn't offend you.
9.
I don't want to keep you.
10.
I'll call you if I get a chance.
Unit 8, Recording 1. 1.
Do fish sleep? The answer is yes and no. Fish don't close their eyes and dream like humans, and some of them, such as sharks, have to keep moving or they die. But fish do seem to be less active, physically and mentally, at certain times, and this seems to perform the same function as sleep in humans.
2.
Why don't polar bears' feet freeze? Polar bears are probably the best insulated animals on land. They have about 10 centimetres of fat beneath their thick fur. Their feet are covered in fur too, as well as a thick layer of dead skin, which protects them when they come into contact with the ice. That's why their feet don't freeze.
3.
Can a loud sound kill you? Yes, it can. Sound becomes painful at around 130 decibels. A jet engine around 20 or 30 metres away makes this kind of sound. At around 170 decibels, your eardrums burst, and a sound of 200 decibels will probably kill you.
4.
Can humans catch diseases from plants? Humans can't catch diseases caused by viruses or bacteria from plants. However, they can have an allergic reaction to them. Every summer, millions of people suffer from hay fever, and this is caused by plants.
5.
Why do chili peppers taste hot? They taste hot because of a chemical in them called capsaicin. This chemical tricks your body into thinking it is being burned, even when it is actually not. The capsaicin doesn't harm you, it is all in your mind. Because of its unusual qualities, capsaicin is used by the police in some countries in a special form called pepper spray. It causes temporary blindness, but doesn't do any long-term damage.
Unit 8, Recording 2.
A few days before the Great Exhibition in Paris was due to start, two English ladies, Clara Redwood and her 20-year-old daughter Eleanor, arrived in the city on their way back to London from India, where they were escaping the latest outbreak of the plague. Neither woman could speak much French, and it was very difficult to find a hotel room, but after searching for some time, they eventually managed to book the last 2 rooms available at one of the most famous hotels in Paris. After arriving at the hotel, both women signed the register and were shown up to their rooms. The mother was given room 342, a particularly luxurious room, decorated with beautiful red velvet curtains. Almost immediately, however, the mother fell ill and they had to call the hotel doctor. He examined Mrs. Redwood carefully, then called the hotel manager and spoke urgently to him in French. Eleanor didn't understand what they were saying, but after a few minutes, the doctor explained in English that he couldn't leave Mrs. Redwood because she was too ill. So he gave Eleanor a prescription and asked her to go and fetch the medicine her mother needed, which was available only at his surgery on the other side of Paris. The doctor lent Eleanor his own carriage to travel in, but the journey was frustratingly slow, and it was 4 hours before Eleanor finally returned with the medicine. She rushed into the hotel foyer and asked the manager anxiously how her mother was. The manager stared at her blankly. "What are you talking about, madame?" he asked. "I know nothing of your mother. You arrived here alone." The hotel doctor also denied ever meeting her mother, and when Eleanor insisted on seeing the hotel register, only the young woman's signature was there. Eleanor managed to persuade them to take her back to room 342, but her mother had vanished and the room was empty. Even more mysteriously, the decorations appeared to have been completely replaced, and the beautiful red velvet curtains had disappeared. The distraught girl rushed to the British Embassy to tell her story, but officials refused to believe her. Eleanor became ever more frantic with worry, and when she returned to Britain, she was declared insane and put in a mental hospital. However, the girl continued to insist that her story was true, and doctors never found any other evidence that she was mentally ill. Eventually, she was released, but her mother's body was never found.
Unit 8, Recording 3.
So, what is the explanation for this strange disappearance? Many experts in historical mysteries believe that Mrs. Redwood might have brought the plague back with her from India. If this news had become widely known, it would certainly have ruined the Great Exhibition, so the hotel manager might have conspired with the doctor to keep the terrible news a secret. They certainly must have conspired together in some way or other. However, the British Embassy let the young woman down disgracefully. They should have investigated her story more fully at the very least. On the other hand, surely the hotel staff can't have disposed of the body and redecorated room 342 in just 4 hours. Perhaps, after all, Eleanor was insane, and she made the whole story up. But in that case, what did happen to her mother? And why was she never traced again, dead or alive?
Unit 8, Recording 4. 1.
The ladies could speak very little French.
2.
Eventually, they managed to book 2 of the last rooms available in Paris.
3.
Almost immediately, the mother fell ill and they had to call the hotel doctor.
4,
The doctor said that he couldn't leave Mrs. Redwood because she was too ill.
5,
Experts now believe that Mrs. Redwood might have brought the plague back from India.
6,
The hotel manager must have conspired with the doctor in some way.
7,
Surely the hotel staff can't have disposed of the body and redecorated the room so soon.
8,
The British Embassy should have investigated Eleanor's story more fully.
Unit 8, Recording 5. 1,
Oh, I'm so tired. I shouldn't have gone out last night.
2,
My parents are really late. They might have got lost.
3,
These shoes are killing me. I shouldn't have worn them.
4,
What's happened to Anna? She can't have got my message.
5,
I can't find my phone anywhere. I must have left it at work.
6,
It wasn't Isabel's fault. You shouldn't have got angry with her.
7,
I love your new bag. It must have been expensive.
8,
I feel a bit ill. I shouldn't have eaten so much.
9,
I'm really sorry. I must have left my wallet at home.
Unit 8, Recording 6. 1,
25 years ago, you couldn't send emails and texts. So now you can contact somebody really urgently and get a quick response. But 25 years ago, you couldn't.
2,
Something I could do then that I can still do now is speak Italian. We lived in Milan for 4 years when I was young, and I became fluent then.
3,
Well, I'm the mother of teenage children, and something I didn't have to do 10 years ago, which I have to do now, is supervise children's homework. And I must say, it's one of the most frustrating tasks I could ever have imagined.
4,
Yesterday at work, I had to talk to somebody because there'd been a complaint about them. I didn't want to do it because I really like that person, but, well, it's part of my job, so I had to do it.
5,
I should have posted a letter this afternoon and I remember walking right past the post office and just forgot all about it.
Unit 9, Recording 1.
For many job seekers around the world, getting a job with a top international company like Google is the pinnacle of their ambition. But with so many talented applicants, how does a company find the brightest and best candidate? In the last 15 years, there has been a trend amongst top companies towards asking weird and wacky questions in job interviews, like the ones above. The idea of these questions is to test the creativity and quickness of a candidate, and to find out more about the way that the candidate thinks. Most candidates are unlikely to give an honest answer to a stereotypical interview question like, "What is the biggest failure in your life?" But in answering a question like, "What would I find in your refrigerator right now?" they may reveal more about the kind of person that they are. So, what are the correct answers to these questions? According to Professor Abdul Khalid of London University, many of them do not have right or wrong answers. The most important thing is tackling the question intelligently. When it comes to weird interview questions, it seems the only wrong answer is, "I don't know."
Unit 9, Recording 2. A,
The answer is the same day as you left, in the afternoon. You are travelling west, so you gain 8 hours, but obviously the flight takes 11 hours, so you would arrive the same day at 8 in the evening.
B.
The answer is a red and black insect, although ladybirds, which are a type of beetle, can also be orange or yellow.
C.
The answer is the Czech Republic. Prague is the capital of the Czech Republic, the river Vltava is its longest river, and the Šumava Mountains are located in the southwest of the country.
D.
The answer is you leave hospital. If you leave prison, you are released, unless you escape, of course, and when you leave school or university, you graduate.
E.
The answer is, ironically, the Blue Sea. The Black Sea is between Europe and Asia, the Red Sea lies between Africa and Asia, and the Yellow Sea lies between China and Korea.
F.
The answer is the average distance between the Sun and the Earth. The average distance between the Moon and the Earth is approximately 384,000 kilometres, while the distance from the Sun to the nearest star is 4.3 light years.
Unit 9, Recording 3.
Thank you for coming. Before I start, I'd just like to say how wonderful you all look today. Oh dear.
What are you doing?
Oh, I have to give a presentation in class tomorrow. I'm so nervous.
Why on earth are you nervous?
Why? Because public speaking is absolutely terrifying, of course.
Don't be such a wimp. There are only 9 students in your class.
You're calling me a wimp? It was you who cried in the toilet before your last job interview.
That was an extremely important interview. It was different.
What I need is sympathy right now, not criticism.
You're right. I'm really sorry. I do sympathise. When I'm stressed, what helps is to take deep breaths and listen to some relaxing music.
Oh, okay, thanks. And then you go and cry in the toilet.
Paul?
Unit 9, Recording 4. 1.
I'm absolutely exhausted. Let's stay in and watch a film.
Oh, you're so boring these days. I want to go out.
2.
I really like living here because it's so near the centre.
That's true, but it gets really noisy at night.
3.
Thanks for everything. We've had such a nice evening.
You're welcome. Come again soon.
4.
I suppose you want to see Liz.
No, actually, it was you I wanted to see.
5.
Why on earth are we inside on such a beautiful day?
Well, it was you who wanted to spend the day at a museum.
6.
Ouch! This tooth is so painful.
You know, you really need to go to the dentist's.
7.
What's all this broken glass? What on earth have you been doing?
Don't blame me. It wasn't me who broke it.
8.
Your friend was really lovely. I do hope you'll invite him again.
Yes, I will. I think he really enjoyed the evening as well.
9.
Come on, let's go to that new club.
Look, I really do think it's time we went home. It's nearly 3.
10.
I really think you ought to apologise to her.
Why on earth should I apologise? It wasn't me who started the trouble.
Unit 9, Recording 5.
My name's Rebecca Wade, and I'm going to talk today about how to give a presentation. All of my ideas, incidentally, are available in my book, How to Give Incredible Presentations. Now, when I say presentation, I don't just mean standing on a stage talking to lots of people. We all have to make presentations these days, often to colleagues or classmates, and the audience may be just a few people rather than a few hundred. And success in life often depends on being able to communicate your ideas effectively to a group of people. So, The advice I'm going to give is true for all these situations. And why do we need this advice? Well, according to some studies, most people's number one fear in life is public speaking. This means that standing in front of a room full of people, for some of us at least, is scarier even than death. But it doesn't need to be if you follow these simple tips. First, let's start with a few important points. Firstly, never read out your presentation. There is nothing more boring for an audience than listening to someone reading out notes. It makes for a monotonous intonation in your voice, and your audience will quickly realise that they could get the same information in half the time just by reading your script. And secondly, try not to move around too much or talk too fast, especially at the beginning of a presentation. Keep your head and hands still. It takes an audience a bit of time to get used to your voice, and if you're dancing around at the front of the room trying to be energetic, it can be very distracting. And the last point is this: nothing is more annoying for an audience than to be kept waiting, particularly at the end of a presentation when everyone is probably desperate for a coffee. So, try to make sure you start and finish on time. Be nice to them and they'll be nice to you.
Unit 9, Recording 6.
So, we've looked at the things you shouldn't do. Now let's look at the things you should do. In terms of planning your presentation, try to remember this simple rule: less is more. Fewer slides are better than a lot of slides. If you have 30 slides for a 30-minute talk, that's too many. Your audience will suffer from information overload, and they won't be able to pay attention to you as you speak. In fact, this is the classic mistake that presenters make. They spend so long preparing a set of fancy, colourful, animated slides that they forget to think about what they're actually going to say and how they're going to say it. Generally, one slide for every 2 minutes of your talk is plenty. Remember also that fewer words on a slide is better than more words. And as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Secondly, it's a good idea to think carefully about the first few lines of your presentation. These are often the most difficult because your stress levels are highest when you begin speaking. So if you can get through these lines, the rest usually follows quite smoothly. And lastly, in terms of planning, try to practice your presentation at least once before you give it. Find a friend who's willing to sit and listen, and then ask for their honest opinion. And what about delivering your presentation? What tips can help? Well, many presenters have keywords on cards that they can hold and look at while they talk. That way, if they forget what they want to say, which is a big fear for many people, the cards will remind them. The second tip that really helps a lot of presenters is to remember to make eye contact with people in the audience as early as possible. This really helps to build rapport and understanding. And thirdly, don't forget to include some interaction. Ask your audience for their opinion near the start of the talk. Sometimes it helps if you ask a question and then give your audience some time to discuss the answer with the person they're sitting next to. So, that's about all I have time for right now. If you want to learn more about my ideas, please visit my website, or you can follow me on.
Unit 9, Recording 7.
How's work? Are you still feeling fed up?
Yeah, especially with this new boss. I absolutely hate every minute of it. I just want to do something different. A job where I can get out of the office and meet new people and talk about something I'm actually interested in.
Like what?
I don't know, but there must be something better than this. Any suggestions?
This might sound a bit strange, but have you ever thought about becoming an estate agent? I think it would be a really good idea. You know how much you love looking around other people's houses, and you're always watching property programmes on TV and stuff.
Yeah, actually, I have thought about it before, but I've no idea if I'm qualified to do it or not.
I'm sure a lot of it's personality, and you've definitely got the right kind of personality for that job. Confident and good at persuading people. You ought to look into it, you know.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. I ought to. I don't know where to start, though.
You could look online, I suppose. There must be websites giving information about that sort of thing. Or why not go into an estate agent's and just ask? I'm sure they like people who show initiative.
It would be good if I knew someone who could give me some advice, you know, so that I know what they're looking for.
I know what you mean. Hang on. I know what you should do. Remember my friend Alex? His mum used to be an estate agent. I'm sure she'd give you some advice. Why don't you have a chat with her? She's really, really nice.
Do you think she'd mind?
Of course not. Go on, give her a call. Why not? I'll text Alex and get her number.
Well, okay then. Yeah, thanks.
Unit 9, Recording 8.
Hello, Jenny Harrison speaking.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Harrison. You don't know me, but my name's Lisa Allen. Your son Alex gave me your number. I hope you don't mind me calling you.
Not at all. Alex said you were going to call. What can I do for you?
Well, I'd like some advice about careers, basically. The thing is, I'm working as a PA at the moment, but I'm really looking for a career change and, well, I'm interested in becoming an estate agent, and I just wondered if you've got any advice about what I should do. I mean, are there qualifications that I need, or can I just apply? I don't know.
Well, you certainly need qualifications if you want to progress in the job, so you should definitely look into that. I can tell you which websites to look at, but to be honest, the most important thing is personality. You do need to be very outgoing and confident, and obviously you need to be interested in everything to do with houses.
Oh, well, I'm certainly all of those things.
And obviously it's essential to have good computer skills, and these days you need good digital photography skills, so if you're not very good with a camera, I would recommend taking a course.
No, actually, I can do both of those things.
Well, that's good. You know what I would advise? I would suggest that you try to get a weekend job with a local estate agent, showing people around houses. A lot of estate agents have extra staff just for the weekend because they're so busy then. I think that would be really useful. That way you can see whether you really like it. And obviously it would give you a bit of experience.
That's a really good idea. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you. How do you think I should apply?
If I were you, I'd just write to all the estate agents in the area with your CV, telling them a bit about yourself and what you want to do. I'm sure if you try hard enough, you'll find something.
That's great, thank you. I really appreciate your advice.
You're welcome and good luck. I hope you find something.
Thanks.
Unit 9, Recording 9.
Asking for advice and suggestions.
Any suggestions? I'd like some advice about careers. I just wondered if you've got any suggestions about what I should do.
Giving advice and suggestions.
Have you thought about becoming an estate agent? You ought to look into it, you know. You could look online, I suppose. Why not go into an estate agent's and ask? I know what you should do. Why don't you have a chat with her?
You should definitely look into that. To be honest, the most important thing is personality. It's essential to have good computer skills. I would recommend doing a course. You know what I'd advise? I would suggest that you try to get a weekend job. If I were you, I would write to all the estate agents in the area.
Responding to advice.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. That's a really good idea. I hadn't thought of that. That's great, thank you. I really appreciate your advice.
Unit 10, Recording 1.
And now it's time for Quiz the Expert. Our expert this week is Monica Jessup. Monica will be familiar to some of our listeners. She has worked at a number of top UK universities. Good to have you on the programme, Monica.
Thanks, Doug.
So, Monica, our first question comes from a caller in South Wales. Hello, Ewan?
Yes, hello.
What's your question for our expert, Ewan?
Okay, well, a question I've always wanted to ask is, who actually controls the media?
Well, Ewan, the simple answer is it depends. In some countries, the government controls the media. In other countries, it's private individuals or companies who own it. What we call mass media nowadays also includes the internet. And you could argue that we all own that because we can all set up a website. However, there are certainly some very large media corporations that own and control a lot of what we see and hear. In the US around 25 years ago, there were 50 major media corporations. Now, there are just 6.
Does that answer your question, Ewan?
Yes, I think it does. Thanks.
Great stuff. Now on to Fred from Bristol.
Thanks, Doug. Monica, I'm interested in your opinion. Does the media reflect what we think, or does the media control what we think? I mean, do we just think about the things that the media wants us to think about?
The eternal question, Fred. It used to be said that the most powerful person in the country was the newspaper editor, because he, and it always was a he, decided what went on the front page, and so decided what was important and what wasn't. However, the internet has had an impact. Now anyone can create news. With the camera in our smartphones, we can record a high-definition video of an event, upload it to the internet, and hey presto, people all over the world can see. Big media corporations are being cut out. Sites like globalvoicesonline.org are bringing the news directly from the people who are experiencing it, inside war zones, for example. So, in answer to your question, while the media does still control what we think to some extent, people are now able to use the media to reflect what they think.
That's a fascinating idea. I must check it out. Thanks for that question, Fred. Now we have Damien in Leeds. Hi, Damien. What's your question?
Oh, yes. You mentioned how the internet has changed news, Monica. How else has the internet changed things? How has it affected the world of media?
Well, of course, it's introduced a lot of new words to our language. Who had heard of microblogging before the internet? But more importantly, I believe the internet has made media more interactive. Media used to be a one-way process. They spoke and we listened. Now it's much more like a dialogue. Every article has reader comments below it. Every concert is reviewed and discussed on Twitter. Unfortunately, I think the internet has also made us all more separate from each other. We're all watching and listening to different things. Young adults now probably don't even remember the time when everyone watched the same thing on television and then talked about it the next day at work or college. In 1986, the top-rated TV show in the UK got 30 million viewers. That's half the population. 25 years later, the top-rated show got less than half that number. As a society, we just don't share the same experiences anymore. We watch and listen to different things.
OK, thanks, Monica. And thanks, Damien, for that question. We've only got time for one more question, I think, which is from Lisa in Edinburgh.
Hi, Monica.
Hi, Lisa. What's your question?
Well, you mentioned newspapers earlier. They're having a hard time of things. Will we still read newspapers in the future?
Most countries have seen a drop in newspaper circulation in the last few years, particularly broadsheets. They're finding it much harder to survive and many have gone out of business. It's not just the loss of readers that is a problem. In the US, newspapers make almost 90% of their money from advertising. When circulation drops, fewer people want to advertise in the newspaper, and they won't pay as much to advertise.
OK, thanks, Monica. Fascinating as always to talk to you, and thanks for taking part in Quiz the Expert. Now it's time for travel news. Gary, over to you.
Unit 10, Recording 2. 1.
So I'm afraid Rachel isn't here at the moment, Sheila.
Well, can you tell her to call me back as soon as she gets in? It's something quite important I need to discuss with her. You won't forget, will you?
Of course I won't.
2.
Zoe, have you borrowed any money from my purse? I thought I had a lot more than £20.
No, I haven't. I haven't touched it. You always think everything's my fault.
3.
I want to go first.
OK, Alex, you can have the first turn, but only for about 10 minutes. Then it's Rosie's turn. Is that clear?
OK.
Unit 10, Recording 3. 1.
Debbie said she was feeling ill.
2.
Debbie said she was feeling ill.
Unit 10, Recording 4. 1.
The weather forecast said it was going to be nice today.
2.
The police officer told us there was nothing to worry about.
3.
Our teacher said the test was going to be easy.
4.
Claire told me she was staying in tonight.
5.
Johnny said the money was his.
6.
She said she couldn't afford to come out for a meal with us.
7.
Nick said he would be home early.
8.
Alex told me she'd passed the exam.
Unit 10, Recording 5. Diana, Princess of Wales.
When Diana, Princess of Wales, was interviewed on television in November 1995, she was still married to Prince Charles. Diana admitted being in love with someone else during her marriage, and admitted that the relationship had been more than a friendship. At the same time, she accused her husband of having a close relationship with another woman, and explained that the stress had led to an eating disorder. Coming from the future Queen of England, this was extraordinary. The hour-long interview caused a media storm. The following year, Diana and Charles divorced, and 2 years later, she died in a car crash in Paris.
Richard Nixon.
In 1977, young British reporter David Frost invited Richard Nixon to be interviewed on television. Ex-US President Nixon was paid $600,000 plus 20% of the profits for his involvement. It became perhaps the most famous TV interview of all time, and was even made into a film. Nixon had resigned the presidency in 1974 after being accused of committing certain crimes. In the interview, Nixon denied committing the crimes and refused to accept he had done anything criminal. However, he accepted that he had let the American people down, and he confessed to making a lot of bad judgments. The interviews were hugely successful and made Frost famous.
Unit 10, Recording 6. 1.
Actions speak louder than words means that what you do is more important than what you say.
2.
Someone who speaks their mind isn't afraid to say exactly what they mean.
3.
It's rude for work colleagues to talk shop when outsiders are present.
4.
He knows what he's talking about. He's an expert on gardening.
5.
If you speak highly of someone, you say good things about them.
6.
A talking point is a subject lots of people want to discuss.
7.
Talk radio has phone-ins and interviews rather than music.
8.
If your voice is very quiet, people may ask you to speak up.
9.
Talking to yourself is often considered to be a sign of eccentricity.
10.
Small talk is polite, friendly conversation about unimportant topics.
11.
They had a huge argument. Since then, they haven't been on speaking terms.
12.
Peace talks are negotiations between the two sides in a war.
13.
A talk show features interviews with celebrity guests.
Unit 11, Recording 1. 1.
If I could wave a magic wand and speak another language fluently, I think I would probably choose Chinese, because I think it's going to be important to speak Chinese in the future, but it's really hard to learn. I think learning it by magic would probably be my best chance.
2.
If I could change one thing about my appearance, I would change the colour of my hair. My hair's a kind of mousy brown colour, and I really wish I had naturally black hair. It's just not the same if you dye it black. It's not as shiny and natural looking.
3.
I'd never go and live abroad under any circumstances. You know, emigrate. I would just miss home too much. My family, food, everything about living in my country. It's nice to go to other countries on holiday and see other places and other cultures, but it's also nice to come home.
4.
I do really wish I was better with technology. Everything I touch just seems to go wrong, and it makes me really nervous about using any kind of new gadget. It's a real problem these days. I wish I didn't have to ask my daughter or my husband to help me all the time. They'd get annoyed with me.
5.
If I could be any animal, I think I'd be a cat. I mean, think about it. They are really independent creatures. They can go out, do what they like, but they get totally looked after, and they can sleep all day. I think it would be the perfect life, really.
Unit 11, Recording 2.
Asteroid. Catastrophe. Dioxide. Dinosaur. Eruption. Fuel. Nuclear. Ocean. Radioactive. Scientific. Solar. Surface. Temperature. Volcanic. Volcano.
Unit 11, Recording 3. Case 1.
Miss K, a 15-year-old secondary school student, wants to have plastic surgery to change the shape of her nose. Although no one at her private girls' school has bullied her about it, she feels that peer pressure to look attractive is very strong, and she says the issue is affecting her self-esteem and making her depressed. It is Miss K's ambition to become a corporate lawyer, and she believes that her nose will also affect her career prospects. Her wealthy parents don't believe that her nose is such a serious problem and feel that she should wait until she is at least 21, as she may feel differently about it by then. However, they have said that they will pay for the surgery if doctors agree that it is in their daughter's best interests.
Case 2.
A 6-year-old boy, S, has been diagnosed by doctors with attention deficit disorder, ADHD, and prescribed a new drug which he will probably have to take until he is an adult. The drug is not thought to lead to dependency, but the long-term effects are not fully known. His mother, who is separated from his father and who has custody of their 3 children, is keen to try the drug. She says his problem is badly affecting his life, both at school and at home. He is distracted at school, is already falling behind other children in his schoolwork, and his teachers are unsympathetic. At home, his bad behavior causes constant stress, and his mother says that the only thing that keeps him calm is playing computer games. His father, who lives 100 kilometers away, is against him taking the drug. He says that his son is just a normal boy who needs to move to a more disciplined school with a calmer working environment, and that he needs to play outside more instead of staying indoors and playing computer games.
Case 3.
Dr. Z, a prominent National Health Service specialist, has created a big stir in the media by publicly questioning whether he should treat a patient who is a heavy smoker. The woman, Mrs. X, who is in her early 60s, has a life-threatening illness that requires expensive surgery and medication. She has been a lifelong smoker and says that she cannot give up. Dr. Z says that treating her does not represent value for money for the taxpayer, as she is shortening her life expectancy considerably by smoking. However, opponents of Dr. Z point out that Mrs. X, who is a retired school secretary, was a taxpayer all her working life. Furthermore, her illness is not directly linked to smoking, and she is currently in good enough general health to undergo surgery and treatment. But as the aging population grows and healthcare gets more and more expensive for the state, the case is causing huge public debate.
Unit 11, Recording 4. 1.
Lila, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Lila, I just wanted to ask something important. I wanted to ask if you would tell me where you bought that phone. It's so cool.
Oh, thanks, Ian. I bought it online. Anything else?
No, that's all. Oh dear, that was my perfect opportunity. She might have said yes if I'd asked her out.
2.
I work here, at a speed race track. It's my dream job. I wouldn't be here now if I had followed my parents' wishes and become a lawyer.
3.
Bye, Sally. See you tomorrow. You know, I had an argument with Sally a few years ago. A big, screaming argument. It was difficult for a while, but we stayed in touch. I kept calling her, trying to work it out, and we did in the end. If I hadn't kept in touch with her, we wouldn't be friends now.
4.
Oh dear, another late evening in the office. If I'd left work on time, I would have seen my children before they went to bed.
Unit 11, Recording 5. 1.
Do you have any lifelong ambitions?
2.
Have you ever been rescued by a lifeguard?
3.
Do you find it easy to talk about your private life?
4.
Is anyone making life difficult for you at the moment?
5.
Which film star would you like to meet in real life?
Unit 11, Recording 6.
2 recent opinion polls have given new life to the debate on animal testing. So, Sasha, what do the polls reveal?
Well, they show that the majority of people feel that medical research on animals is justified in some circumstances. Only around 1 in 5 people believe that it is never acceptable under any circumstances.
Well, that seems quite clear. What else do the polls show?
Well, the problems start when you ask what sorts of experiments are justified. 3/4 of people, for instance, think that experiments on monkeys and other primates should not be allowed, and more than 4 out of 5 people think that experiments which cause severe suffering or pain should be banned. However, just over half the people polled also said that experiments on new medicines should be allowed. The problem, of course, is what if that experiment on a new medicine causes severe pain to the animal?
I see. What do people feel about testing cosmetics on animals?
Well, that's very clear. The vast majority of people, over 90%, are against that.
So, how would you summarise the polls overall?
Generally speaking, it's a mixed picture, but the results certainly show that more and more people are concerned about animal testing.
OK, well, thank you for that brief roundup, Sasha. On to other news where...
Unit 12, Recording 1.
A celebrity is a person who works all his life to become well known, then wears dark glasses to prevent people from recognizing him.
Being a star was never as much fun as dreaming about being a star.
If you don't want to be forgotten as soon as you are dead, either write things that are worth reading or do things that are worth writing about.
A writer's fame is the best kind to have. It is enough to get you a good table in a restaurant, but not enough to mean that you are interrupted while you are eating.
I don't want to achieve immortality through my work. I want to achieve it through not dying.
Being a sex symbol was rather like being a convict.
There is only one thing worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about.
Unit 12, Recording 2. 1.
An unnamed entertainer has today taken out an injunction to prevent the news media from publishing details of an extramarital affair that he had with a colleague last year. The entertainer, a married father of 3, is described as a household name with a strong image as a family man. He says in a statement released by his lawyers that he and his family have a right to privacy and that he has taken legal action to prevent his children from being bullied and teased at school.
2.
The singer Charlotte Morland appeared in court today to describe the suffering that phone hacking by tabloid newspapers has caused her and her family. Repeated hacking into her private voicemail messages meant that details of her mother's mental illness were published in a number of newspapers, eventually causing her mother to have a breakdown. Miss Morland described the paranoia she experienced as she read newspaper stories about information that she had only revealed to close friends and family members, and how she had wrongly accused friends of selling stories to journalists.
Unit 12, Recording 3.
And today we have heard news of an unnamed entertainer, let's call him X, who has taken out an injunction to prevent the media from reporting his extramarital affair, in order, X claims, to protect his children from playground bullying. Also this week, stories about the hacking of celebrities' phones continue to emerge, especially the sad story of Charlotte Morland and her mother. So today we're asking you, is the way that the media behaves towards celebrities acceptable? Should the law protect the privacy of the famous and their families? Or should celebrities shut up and just accept that this is the price they pay for fame and publicity? Tell us what you think. First, over to Becky in Somerset. Hello, Becky, and welcome to the show. Tell me, what's your reaction to the stories we've heard this week?
Hello, Andrew. Well, I think it's right that the law protects famous people and their families and allows them to have a normal life. I mean, this X, whoever he is, his children are innocent, aren't they? They deserve to have the right to a normal life, like other children. It isn't really any of our business what X does or doesn't do. It's his wife's business, not ours. So I think what's happened is right.
You don't think that if people choose to be in the public eye, then they should just put up with this kind of thing if it happens?
Well, their children don't choose to be famous, do they? And they're the ones who are going to suffer here.
Fair enough, Becky. Thanks for your views. Over to Carl in Liverpool now. Carl, do you agree with Becky?
No, I disagree 100%. If what I've read is right, this is someone who appears on family TV shows, who has his photograph in magazines with his wife and children, who makes a lot of money out of being in adverts looking like the perfect family man. And then he goes and has an affair. I mean, it's really hypocritical, isn't it? If he wants to make money out of being seen as a family man, then he should behave like one. And if he doesn't, then I think we have the right to know about it.
OK then, strong views there from Carl in Liverpool. Leslie in Bristol, I believe you agree with Carl. Can you tell us briefly why?
Hi, Andrew. Yes, I just want to say that if X doesn't want his children to be upset, he should think about that before he starts having an affair. That's the same for anyone, isn't it? If you don't want your kids to suffer, you don't do things like that. So if they do get teased at school, then it's his own fault. He can't blame the media.
Thank you, Leslie. And here's a text from Carol in Derbyshire, agreeing with Carl and Leslie. She says simply, X is not taking legal action to protect his children, it's to protect himself. Thank you for that, Carol. It's an opinion expressed in many other texts and emails that we've received from our listeners. OK, now over to Gemma in Cardiff. Gemma, you want to talk about the Charlotte Morland story?
That's right. I just want to say how disgusted I am to hear what the newspaper did to Charlotte Morland and her mother. I think what happened to her mother is a disgrace, and it really makes me feel ashamed to be British. I just can't believe that this kind of thing is allowed to happen.
Well, of course, if the journalist who is accused of hacking is found guilty, he could be sent to prison. And we also know that the Morland family are likely to receive several £100,000 in compensation. But presumably, you don't think that makes up for the suffering they've been through?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anything can compensate for that kind of trauma.
Well, thank you, Gemma. We've received a large number of texts and emails making the same point as Gemma, so thank you very much for those too. But Robert in London, you want to make a different point about this story.
Good morning, Andrew. Yes, I do. The fact of the matter is that tabloid newspapers only publish stories if they think that people want to read them. So they must know that stories like this one sell newspapers. And the people texting you saying how terrible they think the newspapers are, well, they're probably the same people who read the stories about Charlotte Morland and her mother. So isn't it we, the public, who are the real hypocrites, not the journalists?
Very interesting point there, Robert. Thank you for calling. So what do you think? Call, text or email us and share your thoughts. And now some music from a new band.
Unit 12, Recording 4. 1,
She asked me not to be late.
2,
I'm unhappy about not working.
3,
I'd like to have travelled more.
4,
He needs to be told.
5,
She seems to be sleeping.
6,
I really like being asked my opinion.
Unit 12, Recording 5. 1,
If I had to be famous, I would like to be famous for being a painter. I think it would be nice to be famous for being a painter because I really enjoy painting, and it would be nice to be famous, but mainly because I really enjoy painting.
Challenge! Repetition!
Oh.
2,
I think it must actually be more difficult because I don't think you would know who were genuine friends and who just wanted to be friends with you because you were famous. I think that being famous brings its own problems. I think suddenly everyone wants to be your friend, and therefore forging any sort of real friendship with someone must be really difficult, let alone forming a relationship with someone of the opposite sex that you might want to marry or be a partner with.
Well done. That's 30 seconds.
Wow.
3,
I would love to appear on a reality TV programme, especially if it was one where you could learn to dance really well. I think learning to dance would be amazing, and what a great opportunity.
Challenge. Sorry, you hesitated there.
Copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2013.